Okay, so Krazy Kendra just made 20-something part series about how she fell in love with her psychiatrist. That's her actual handle, Krazy Kendra. I'm not saying that she's crazy. That's how she called herself, or like she made her handle. So I reacted to the first 4 parts live. I'm a hypnotherapist, and this really was painful for me to watch. Part of me was like, bless her. But another part of me was like, that poor psychiatrist. And a third part of me was like, may I never get a client like that. I stopped after 4 parts because I really needed a break. Because it got me dysregulated, honestly. Here are my reactions to the 4 parts, and I will get back to the rest later. Also, I just decided to react to this live right now, and currently where I live at this specific time, crows are going to be flying and making sounds, and people are praying, so maybe we're gonna hear some bells. Let's see, hopefully not. So far, she made part 1 where she talks about how some psychiatrists or some men will go into psychiatry to kind of feed into female vulnerability. I wouldn't disagree with that. Some people go for it because they like it and they want to help others. Some people go for different reasons. And we have seen psychiatrists or therapists in general who aren't the best people. It's fine. It's an industry like any other industry, right? So part 1 is fine, but when I watched part 2...
nodded, and that's the thing about psychiatrists, is that they're good at pretending to listen.
So she's saying that psychiatrists are good at pretending to listen. I would say that's her. To be honest with you, there's a 4th part of me that is hoping that this whole thing is a parody or just a joke, because her handle is Krazy Kendra. So why is she calling herself crazy? I'm hoping that this is a joke. I'm gonna pretend that this is a joke so I can actually get through this. So she is guessing, I guess, but she's believing that he is pretending to listen. It's his job to listen. So that was kind of a red flag to me, that it's his job to listen, right? But then in part 3...
So from then on, from my 3rd session on, I started calling him. From then on, us being friendly. Asked me, for the first 6, he said, happy, you're all normal. And then he would ask me any thoughts of harm. And apparently that's pretty common for psychiatry to ask those questions. And then on our 6th session, when things were really, the chemistry was starting to be there before, like, I didn't realize it. I was like, oh, this man's, I have to ask this because it's a special interest of mine. But is there any thoughts of harm? Like, I was special to him.
So this part was just painful to listen to, because she says that he asked her if there are any thoughts of harm, because that's a special interest of him. And her interpretation of that is that he means that she is special to him. It's a special interest of his, as in like it's his speciality. But she heard it as she is special to him. This was so painful to watch. And this is the part that got me a bit traumatized and wishing that this is a parody. And and I'm kind of scared what's coming next, you know?
And I said, no, no thoughts of harm.
She said no.
Ever ask me a clinical question again. He stopped asking me about my bladder, bowels, and appetite, and he stopped asking me about thoughts of harm. To me, I would just show up and he was like a therapy appointment every month.
So she's saying this last part, and she's obviously not very happy about it. That after he asked her that question and she said no, then he's asking her normal questions, and he stopped asking her about her bladder and stuff like that. She doesn't look happy about that. I don't know how is she making sense of like this. Probably he was asking her questions to understand about the side effects of the medicine that he gave her, because that's what a psychiatrist does. You know, you try the medicine and they ask you questions about the side effects, and that's how they measure if that medicine is good for you or not. So after 6 sessions, probably because like that's how long it should take for any symptoms or side effects to come out, and if they don't come after, like if these symptoms like thoughts of harm or problems with bladder, your bowel movement, if nothing comes after 6 sessions, then you're good and you're fine, you're good to go to continue that medicine. Like this is how I'm not a psychiatrist, I'm a hypnotherapist, but like this makes sense to me. But she's understanding it as he was asking her these questions that are special interest to him, and when she said no, that they are not special anymore, so he didn't give her that attention. Like I think that's how she's making sense of it, and that was painful to watch. And let's see what happens in part 4. I'm kind of scared, honestly.
So I was seeing him every month and just gaining more and more respect for him, because he would just tell me these little things about his successes and all of the cool things that he was doing in his life. And it made me fall for him, honestly. And he was really good at listening. And
because he's a psychiatrist, right? So what?
Of course he's going to be. I mean, he's a Pisces, right? So
no. He's not good at listening because he's a Pisces. Because he's a psychiatrist. That's what they're trained to do. Psychiatrist, therapist, hypnotherapist, anyone in the mental health department or industry, they must be good listeners. Like oh my god, this is gonna be more painful than part 3. Oh my god, I hope I get through it.
Of course he's gonna be there and be able to go deep with my feelings, but that doesn't mean that he wasn't extracting from them. Anyway,
okay.
So I would beg him to let me see him every week. Beg him, because my therapist at the time...
Wait, what?
Wasn't extracting from them. Anyway, so I would beg him to let me see him every week.
Why?
Because my therapist at the time, he was fine. You know, he wasn't a predator, but he was fine. He just wasn't doing very much for me. And so that therapist retired, and I got a new therapist.
Wait.
A therapist who is a 75-year-old woman with a...
Anyone else is lost? Like, I'm lost. How many therapists is she talking about? I thought I'm lost.
Retired, and I got a new therapist. And this new therapist, who is a 75-year-old woman with a PhD, she was pretty helpful. So I stopped asking my psychiatrist, begging, honestly, to be my therapist and let me see him more, right? Which also should have been a red flag. But then
no. It's not a red flag. It's just not his job. He's a psychiatrist is someone who listens to your symptoms and asks you questions about the symptoms. Of course, he's gonna ask you about your family and stuff like that. She said, I think in part act 1 or 2, I don't remember, that he was asking her about these things, because he's supposed to know what you're going through, to see which medicine would be good for you. So that's why he didn't want to see her every week, because it's simply not his job. That's more of a therapist job, especially if you're going for talk therapy. Yeah, they can see you every week, but a psychiatrist, it's very rare. Maybe in the first few times that they want to know more about the symptoms, so they can prescribe you something good, and maybe dependent on the type of medicine and how fast side effects are supposed to appear, and things like that. So I believe that he didn't want that, because he probably clocked it. He probably saw that she was having some feelings and things like that, and he didn't want it to go further. So he was maybe trying to have some good boundaries. I'm assuming maybe like he wanted to help her, but he also wanted to have good boundaries, and it came and bit him in the ass, I would say.
Focusing on this therapist. However, I would tell the therapist how obsessed I was with my psychiatrist, and she didn't do anything about it.
Wait, what do you want her to do?
She also loved stories about my dating life, and she also was getting supplies in her own way.
No, sweet, no. Come the fuck on. We ask you oh my fuck. We ask you questions because we want to understand these are not stories, right? If I want to, I'm going to watch a movie, right? Or I would read a book, a novel. There are tons of, dumbass novels, actually, nowadays, if I want to listen to a story, right? But oh my god, I am a bit dysregulated because this is very traumatizing. We ask you questions because we want to understand your perception of yourself, how you look at the world. We want to see the symptoms, your life and your behaviors and how you look at the world. These are the symptoms that we evaluate. You know what I mean? It's not like, oh my god, I want to listen to a story. I can ask ChatGPT to write me a story right now. You know what I mean? I said that I would watch the whole thing, but honestly, I need a break. I got dysregulated because, bless her, but that poor psychiatrist, oh my god. And the other lady with a PhD. Oh my god, this is painful, and I need a break. I need a breather, and I will get back to reacting to the rest later, because I'm imagining that it's getting more crazy and it's getting more painful. So yeah. I'm out of here.